Just, Erastus Asare is one of the few journalists that I follow closely, and I've liked what he's doing. I'm so glad that this is not the past government era, because otherwise, you know what they did to him previously, right? Otherwise, it would have been worse that he dared to speak against a president and also mention the president's name on Facebook.
That's not true.
That is
regarding the way he called him out?
Regarding the way he called him out.
No.
If this had happened in the Akufo-Addo government, you know what would have happened, right? We know what they did to the City FM. You know what they did to Anas. You know how, what's his name, Ahmed Swale. Remember what they did to journalists, raided people's homes and destroyed people's equipment. So I am just so glad that thankfully Ghanaians have now voted out that old government and have brought in a new government where a journalist can call out the president and the president takes action rather than going after the journalist. So it is a good era for Ghanaians and especially for Ghanaian journalism. Everybody should be excited that now we have President John Mahama, the giant of Gonja, who is now in charge of the country and is going to help us. So I'm glad. So Erastus, we are on it, and I'm so glad that you are in the forest and you're pointing these things out. We really are appreciative of your work. Thank you. Now, when we talk about mining in the forest reserves, I went to a program that was set up by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. That was last week, Honorable Ama Kofi-Boa. And some of the statistics I heard were very scary. The number of forests that have been impacted in terms of our forest reserves are 43 out of 288. And in all of these, they have been like different alerts. The red alert forests are like 9 that has red alert. That means that the action in those forests have gone so far that there's not even much we can even do to restore those forests. So he said that the size of our forest reserves that is being decimated is about 7,000, is about the size of 7,504 standard football pitches. So again, when we talk about mining, what the previous government has put us through in terms of Galamsey and illegal mining is unconscionable. Our water bodies have been destroyed, especially in the Western region. We even had government officials that were involved in the Galamsey in the Western region. Thankfully, President Mahama is here, and he said he's going to bring all those people to book. Like I said, last week I flew over the River Pra, and the River Pra is slowly recovering. Bucket of water. Today we are using 10 times the same amount of solution to the same bucket of water. Now, the treatment they are treating is actually only even treating the turbidity. It's not even treating the chemicals that these Galamseyers have put it inside the water. They are putting arsenic, they are putting mercury, they are putting cyanide. These chemicals are all what we call in medicine teratogenic and carcinogenic. When you say teratogenic, that means that the woman that is pregnant, if she ingests any of these chemicals, is going to lead to one, stillbirths, premature birth, and when the child is born, most of the kids will be deformed. Even where the body and everything is not deformed, it can affect the child's brain. So the child looks okay, but the brain has been affected. So we're going to have a lot of trisomies and children with deformities being born. And when you look at all these villages along these water bodies, we have started seeing that in the hospitals already.
So yesterday, when I had a chance to ask a question to the minister, I actually made it clear that obviously what Galamsey is doing now is that it has an effect on the now and it has an effect on the future.
Thank you.
On the now is how it is destroying our lands, cocoa lands. Last year we had about 100,000 hectares of cocoa lost to Galamsey. We are now struggling with water situation, which we've been served with a notice of importing water. We're now having to deal with babies with deformities. That has to do with the future. So we are literally destroying the whole.
The babies with deformities is now. The future is a cancer. It's a carcinogenic.
Oh,
okay. So that means that in the future, we're going to see a rise in cancer.
Okay.
We're going to see a rise in skin cancer. We're going to see a rise in kidney cancers that we don't even have treatments for.
Oh.
So these are going to be rare cancers that are not even in the system now. So these are emerging cancers that are coming that our health system might not even be ready to handle. That doesn't include the skin conditions. That doesn't even include the fish itself. So even some of these chemicals are being found in our crops. Because remember that these chemicals, they leach and they seep into the soil itself. So pretty soon, even some of these, where we're exporting our crops, our cash crops, they will start finding some of these chemicals, traces of these chemicals in it, and it might be the reason why we cannot even sell in the EU, or we cannot take some of our crops to the US. So this Galamsey issue, this is the previous president who staged, what did he say? I will stake my presidency on solving the Galamsey. Remember when it was rhetoric? Remember when President Akufo-Addo didn't mean the things he said? That is what has led us here today. That is why he said, Party Hieska. Remember the...
Who said Party Hieska?
President Akufo-Addo said it. Remember what's his name?
He's not the one that said
the gentleman, the surgeon.
No.
Remember the surgeon?
Prof. President Akufo-Addo never said Party Hieska.
Okay, Party Hieska is the guy. Remember the surgeon from...
It was Prof in that video, in the Galamsey video.
Exactly.
Yes, no. But not Nana Akufo-Addo.
The Galamsey, what's his name? Frimpong Boate. Is it
Frimpong Boate? Yes.
Yes, him. Remember the report that he put out?
Yes.
He actually even mentioned people in the Flagstaff house. He mentioned people and sent this report to the president, Nana Akufo-Addo. What did he do? Nothing. So today, I'm just surprised that they are even all up in arms worrying about what President Mahama would do. You saw Erastus Asare Donko's post. As soon as he finished, not less than 30 minutes to an hour later, he came back and said, thank you, Mr. President, for swiftly responding to this issue. So, Mr. President, John Dramani Mahama is a listening president. Mr. President, John Dramani Mahama is the president that is going to solve that Galamsey issue. Mr. President, John Dramani Mahama is the one that is going to give us the water that we have lacked for the last 8 years. Is the president that is going to make sure that our food security or our food is secured. He is the president that is going to make sure that our children are not deformed. He is the president that is going to make sure that we don't have future cancers. He is the president that is going to ensure that kidney diseases are trending downwards. That is the president who has stated and said that I, John Dramani Mahama, I will fix the problems in this country.
So he has indicated that if you know that you want to deal in mining activities or Galamsey, you have to exit his government.
Thank you.
I hope that he's looking through, because there are allegations and counter allegations against officials, not officials, but persons in NDC. I won't say officials because he hasn't appointed them, but there are some persons.
It's not an NDC NPP problem. Although President Akufo-Addo went all the way and helped them destroy all our forests, at least how many of them? 43 out of 288. This is in the last 8 years, these numbers I'm talking about. So although he stood by and watched that thing happen, President Mahama is saying that it doesn't matter who you are. He's saying that it doesn't matter you are in his government. It doesn't matter who you are. He is going to solve the problem. He is going to stop Galamsey. He's going to restore our water. He's going to make sure our food is secure. The man stood in Parliament at the State of the Nation's address and said that I, John Dramani Mahama, will fix the problem. He didn't say, oh, the other guy didn't do the work, but me too, I'm waiting and see what will happen. He said, no, it has happened. But from the moment I became president, all these issues will stop. He is not like the other guy who staked his whole entire presidency on stopping Galamsey, but was implicitly or explicitly or
I like the way you're putting it.
Or allegedly actively involved in the Galamsey itself. The Galamsey kingpin, allegedly. This is not John Dramani Mahama.
Okay.
So let us wait for him to read his budget tomorrow. Let us wait for President John Mahama and Atuforsen tomorrow to come and tell us.
Okay.
But as soon as he saw this thing on the social media, he sent people there to stop it. So this implication that NDC members, weren't we here when Ayawaso West happened? Armed security in Ghana at the polling station. Weren't we here in this country when 8 people were shot at gunpoint?
We do Galamsey at Ayensu.
Regular Ghanaians who were just going to the polls were shot, and even the president himself said nothing. Weren't we here when in Esikado
He set up a committee for investigation.
and then he scuffled or put the paper, the documentation, the recommendations under his bed? Weren't we here when in Esikado Ketan 2020 Collation Center there were 16 armed militia and they shot 3 people and wounded them? Who said something?
But
Annie, please, when it comes to vigilante, when it comes to vigilante,
I'm not see if it's the right thing.
Annie, when it comes to vigilante,
I cannot prove that those who were on the mining site or the Galamsey site
that is what I'm trying to say.
NDC,
Thank you.
But they were armed.
That is the point I'm trying to say. So
cannot
let's
prove
not
it.
sit here.
No, I can't.
Let's not sit
But
here
Erastus
without
saying
any.
certain things can
I
be
finish, please?
used as the,
Let's not sit here, Annie.
You can use as a basis to maybe allege, but you cannot really prove.
Can I finish?
Okay.
So let's not sit here and attribute this to some political party without any evidence. So as I said earlier, I am not going to involve myself in conjecture. I'm not going to involve myself in rumors and innuendos and also ad hominem attacks.
Okay.
We are here because President Mahama said
Facebook people,
he is now the president of the country and he's
Facebook
going to
viewers
fix
are
it.
also prompting us on a TV sound. So please check for me and give me feedback if we have an issue with sound.
President Mahama
said, we're told that it's been fixed. I hope so. We're told it's been fixed.
He said he will fix the problem, Annie. Tomorrow they're going to read the budget. The water bodies are going to recover. He's going to swiftly move in. If anybody brings any more evidence that they're in the forest reserves are going to be turned around. We're going to plant trees. We are also going to monitor the river bodies with water guards who are going to make sure that the margin of error where even the legal miners are mining is not close to any river body. Annie, please, this matter is not NDC and PP.
Okay.
Even though we are aware of what happened in the last 8 years.
Okay.
So let's not sit here and attribute things to NDC with zero evidence. We are here because we want to inform your audience. We are here because we want to make cogent arguments. We are here because we want to substantiate our points. So please, Ghanaians want to hear what is the way forward. Ghanaians are not here, he said, she said, you did this, I did this. They are here for President Mahama to come and effect some of the policies that he has promised them, and that is what we are all here to do. We will support President John Mahama to effect his policies, to stop Galamsey, to reset the country on the right trajectory, so that Ghanaians, all of us, including NDC and PPCPP, can enjoy this country, the only country that we have.
So this is what Erastus wrote in his last, paragraph when he was running up on his statement. He says that, Mr. President, if this does not have the backing of the power given you by Ghanaians, then I expect this illegality to be vanquished. Now, after he wrote that, this is when the authority moved in. A collaborative operation between a rapid response unit of the Forestry Commission and the Ghana Armed Forces has resulted in the seizure of 10 excavators, a bulldozer, and the arrest of 4 individuals, including involved in the illegal mining within the Tano Anya forest in the Western North region. The crackdown carried out on Sunday, 9th March 2025, targeted compartments 17 and 20 of the reserve, following repeated incursions by illegal miners despite previous eviction efforts. Prior to this, the 4th of March operation staff from the Enchi Forest District alongside Forestry Commission Rapid Response Team had raided the reserve, forcing out 12 excavators being used for illegal mining. And there's one thing that the government started doing that really confused me at some point, by burning excavators. So they also came and they were continuing. So I think His Excellency moved in and said, stop burning the excavators. They've started seizing them. Yes. We don't want to hear that the excavators are missing. Let me just make that clear.